Hi, it's Anna Vaughn and Luna Tuna. Say hi.
Flowers.
Yeah, flowers. We're standing in front of some flowers here in Mexico City. And I think it's about time that we do a little video on safety tips for families who are traveling. Don't break it, honey. I made a video a little while ago on safety tips for females traveling solo, and I will link that here. And you can take a look at that. And I'll probably reiterate a little bit of that information because there is some crossover. But today we're going to talk about safety tips specifically for people traveling with children and what you need to look out for all over the world.
Huh?
You stealing flowers back there?
Well,
Okay, so the first tip, the number one most controversial tip that people are talking about all the time is, should you bring a car seat? Now, I've said this a million times, but this will be the last time. I will say it one more time right here, and that is that you do not need to bring a car seat. You don't need to lug a car seat through the airport. You can rent one at every car rental place. They're actually kind of expensive. You can rent them all over the world. You can rent kids things that you need. A car seat's about $5 American a day to rent anywhere in the world. You also do not need them in Ubers, Cabify, Grab, or taxis in about 99% of the world. So if you're comfortable taking a taxi from the airport to your Airbnb without a car seat, don't bring one. Having said that, if you're the kind of person that is very, very nervous about going anywhere without a car seat, even if you don't need one legally, then I think you should look into car seat alternatives. There are some new great seat belts that you can fly with, you can travel with. They kind of hook into the seat, they hook onto children. They're like USA grade, like level safety, whatever that means. But if that gives you peace of mind, get them, buy them, invest in that stuff. You know, same for strollers. We don't really use them. You can rent them all over the world. But if you have a stroller you love and it's big, bring it. If it's going to mean your peace of mind, do whatever it takes to have positive mental attitude while you travel. We're here at a place called Bel Mundo, which is my favorite spot in all of Roma. I come here a lot, and I thought we should do tip number 2 here because I was actually pickpocketed here last week. And I've never been pickpocketed in my entire life, and traveling to over 30 countries, it has never happened. This is in a great part of Mexico City. It's in Roma. It's very safe. This is a place I come to all the time. I feel very comfortable here. But the reason I got pickpocketed was because I was distracted by my child. Look what my child's doing while I'm doing this. Sit down. Sit down. Hey, sit down. So because she's doing this type of stuff, she's distracting me and I'm not watching my bag. So while this kind of tomfoolery is going on, my bag, this exact bag, was on the back of a chair and a guy put his hand in it and took out my phone. I have actually been taking one of these fabric bags around with me all over the world because I do think that a nondescript bag is really good to carry your things in and try not to look, you know, really expensive or flashy. Like, don't count money in the street and take Louis Vuitton matching luggage everywhere in the world with you. But I had it on the back of my chair, and he put his hand in and grabbed it. And the reason I didn't notice that he was doing it is because of this person. Kids distract us, man. It's how we leave passports in public toilets. It's how we forget cameras in taxis, and it's how we get pickpocketed even in nice parts of town with our kids. So it really inspired this video, and it also inspired me to look online. I think at this point I need to get a bag that has a lock on it. Not because I think it's really unsafe, because it's not, but because I'm absent-minded. I'm focused more on her than on my things, and if I'm gonna travel and keep my things intact, I need to have some kind of way to keep them protected. So I found a really great bag online that actually somebody recommended to me in our social media networks. And you can see a picture of it here. And it's worth it to look into these types of things if you're traveling with kids, especially if you want to go swimming and you're a single parent, you want to leave your stuff on the beach and go run in the water and just have your mind is not on your thing. And my third big tip is to separate your cards. So if you're out with your Visa card and some cash, great, then keep your bank card and other things at home. I usually go around with this. It's like a change purse. It's got cash in it, and it's got my bank card right now. When I had my phone stolen, inside was my credit card. I'm so lucky not everything was in there. A lot of times I like to keep a wallet at home that has all of my actual ID in it. Just keeping it separate is like the way that I live now. It's not just when I travel, I keep it all separate. That way if I lose it, which is more likely than it being stolen, I don't lose everything in one shot. And sometimes if you're in a foreign country, I'm with a Canadian bank called TD, and many times they've told me that they won't ship something to me. They can't. I have to go into a branch. And in my case, I might not be in a branch for 6 months. So it's really important to keep it separate. And also, if you want to take the added step, ask your bank what they would do if you were in a foreign country, and maybe list some of the places that you frequently visit or that you're planning on visiting, because a lot of times it's different depending on what country you're in. But that's like super hot tip number one. That way, if you do lose your change purse, you've lost like $50 and a bank card. It's not the end of the world. And I think that's why I got over losing the phone much faster, because I didn't lose so much. In addition to, bags with zippers and locks, you can also get a fanny pack. Fanny packs are the tourist, they've been the tourist beacon for generations, but now they're actually back in style, and a fanny pack will do. In fact, you can have 2 fanny packs. You can have a fanny pack on you, one in your bag. Try and zip up as much as you can. You can use a backpack. I don't use one because I have Luna on my back, but lots of people do, and that's what works. That's what everyone tells me about taking the subway here in Mexico City. Get a backpack, put it on your front. That's what people do with lots of zip pockets. So it's not like it can't be done. You just gotta stay aware. Here's kind of one that's new for me. I actually never used to buy travel insurance. I have a visa through my bank that has some travel insurance on it, but I think it's only 15 days out of the country. I recently started buying travel insurance again because it covers both me and Luna, and I just got more worried that something would happen to her because, of course, kids get sick more frequently and parents freak out and go to hospitals more frequently, and I am no different. I haven't had to take her to a hospital, knock wood, in a foreign country yet. We've been to 8, but I did buy travel insurance when we were in Bali. I bought it through my visa. Got to check because a lot of travel insurance companies are quite affordable, but you have to buy the insurance before you travel. If you're already out of the country, which I was, and you purchase travel insurance, it's much harder and it's much more expensive. And I ended up going through my visa, and I think it cost me $300 for 2 months, 60 days. And they said, well, if you're gone for more, you need to buy more. And I said, I'll call you back in 60 days if I want more. So I did that because in Bali, where we were, Bali is not unsafe at all. I didn't feel like there was any threat, but I just knew a lot of people that had been hit by drunk drivers, and those drunk drivers were all Western people, and I was petrified of being hit by a drunk driver on our moto. And even though we never went anywhere after 7, 8 o'clock at night, I was still really scared of being hit by somebody who was day drinking in the daytime. I watched tourists drive like assholes the whole time I was there. I absolutely saw drunk people in the daytime driving around, and I have 2 friends who've had to have surgery because of drunk drivers, because they were hit by. Both of them were at night, but one woman had surgery on her hand, and that's really expensive, and that's what made me want the travel insurance. So think about that when you're traveling, what kind of things you're going to be doing and where you're going to be and what your surroundings are going to be. And I think we didn't get any last year to go to Ometepe Island in Nicaragua because it was covered under my visa. But I think if we went back there for an extended period of time, I would get some travel insurance, just because if there was a big emergency, we'd have to be airlifted out, and cha-ching, cha-ching, that's some expensive shit, and on top of a heinous accident, the last thing you need is to be in debt for the rest of your life. Also, though, it's worth checking out that a lot of healthcare is quite affordable all over the world. It's really just something that affects more Western people, that it's so unaffordable, especially in the United States. So sometimes you can just show up and pay and put it on a visa, and it's actually not that expensive. Here in Mexico, for instance, it's not expensive, and they also have free healthcare. Although if you can pay, I would recommend it because the paid healthcare is significantly better. I would obviously get travel insurance if I was going to the United States, because they can ruin your entire life if you have to go to emergency. And those are the things to think about, you know. Same in Bali, Indonesia, for instance, it is very expensive to just pay it a la carte. So it was better to have travel insurance just in case. So you need to weigh that out for yourself, but definitely look into travel insurance and see what your options are before you go. Very important for traveling with children. Okay, so tip number 5, and this is kind of one I'm not very good at, but figure out your emergency contacts. You know, we were just, for instance, in Koh Tao in Thailand, and I had no idea where the hospital was. I didn't know how to call 911. I didn't know how to do any of that. And I was thinking a lot about that and coming back to Mexico. You know, get your bearings. Where is the hospital that you would go to if you had an emergency? How could you call for help if there was a fire, you needed the police or something? And this is where it's really important when you travel to have some kind of local contact. Whether you're going to see friends and family or you're staying in an Airbnb where there's a host, these are things that you can ask them before arriving or upon arrival, and sometimes hosts even have it listed like on the fridge what the emergency contacts are if you need them. It's also really good to find out about a pediatrician if you're going to be somewhere for any kind of extended period of time. I'm part of a bunch of mom groups online in Mexico, so if I ever need a pediatrician in any city, I just post it up there either on a single moms group or there's Facebook groups by city, and it's always good to have a number of a doctor so that you can get an appointment if you need one, know where the emergency care is. Sometimes, like in Bali, they have clinics. That kind of stuff is really important to know. And I gotta say, I'm a bit lazy about it, having traveled a lot, and it's not something I did so much of before. And we also always stay with hosts, so I just sort of assume they can help me. But, you know, for instance, we're staying in an apartment now with 3 other people, and we're also next door to a hospital. So I don't feel like I am gonna be, you know, up Schitt's Creek if anything happens. However, it's still good to have those numbers in your phone if you need them. So that's kind of a hot tip of traveling with kids. Always good, you know, if there's a choking hotline, like, why not have that? Better to have it and not need it, right? So that's a good one to get prepared. And again, all of these things will help you with your peace of mind, which is the main safety travel tip that all these come back to, is peace of mind is everything. If you're traveling to a country and you're worried about the water safety, don't worry. Water is just dirty when you're from somewhere else. Luna gets stomach sick and throws up when we go to Canada because she's never had water with chlorine and bleach in it and fluoride and all the stuff that's put in treated water. So she always gets a little bit of like deli belly the first 24 hours when we're there. Don't worry about the water. Most of the world's drinking filtered water. It's not actually a thing. However, that doesn't mean your kid's not going to get sick a little bit, or you might get sick. And the best thing to do for that is travel with probiotics. And a real hot tip, especially for those of you from Canada that are used to getting incredibly gouged every time you go to the pharmacy, you can actually buy really good high-level probiotics over the counter in most developing countries at the pharmacy. And it's because it's an issue for them too. You're not the only one. So I actually get one for Luna here when we travel down to like the lake in Guatemala. You know, Guatemalans get sick at the lake in Guatemala, totally normal from the water. And we get these like liquid probiotics, and she takes them while we're there or just before to give her immune system like a good boost. I also take a probiotic when I'm traveling. And sometimes after having some street food, I double up a little, you know what I'm saying? Just a little extra. Also, charcoal tablets are great to have on hand. You can take them, you can put them in a smoothie for them. Totally safe, and it helps draw out toxins if you get a bit of deli belly. And then my final tip about traveling with medications is make sure you bring Tempra or kids Tylenol, because if you want to go camping, you want to go somewhere remote and they spike a fever from teething or something in the middle of the night, you're prepared. But that's it. The rest of it mostly can be bought from pharmacies. Pharmacists all over the world are actually empowered to help you. So, and it's quite affordable and easy, and they're very knowledgeable. And for the most part, when we travel, we end up just getting help from pharmacists, whether it's like a little skin rash or like she was getting heat rash a lot when we were in Thailand, and like the pharmacist helped us. And also I got I got the deli belly because I'm the one that's always like, oh, let me eat this sketchy thing off the street. You know, it's about the experience. She's actually quite good at digesting anything. It's more me. So, you know, those are the charcoal pills, you know, probiotics, and some baby Tylenol or Tempra. That's pretty much all you really need for like a solid camping trip in the middle of nowhere in Southeast Asia. Anyway, hot bonus tip. Sorry I forgot it. It's a big safety one for us. Stay safe, have fun. Please leave, if I forgot anything, leave it in the comments below. Feel free to like this, share it, subscribe, and even hit the notification button. And then you can find out every time we post. Adios. Okay, adios, baby. Mwah.